Anthony Melchiori, guess what? Today, I know today is going to be a big, big hit. What do you think?
Congratulations on your new job as the host of the restaurant behind you.
Hey, thank you.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality. Well, Anthony, I want to thank you so much for reminding me that partnering with you was such a bad decision. I've had to go get myself other employment. But
listen, I try to crush as many careers as possible.
But we're happy. We're open. We've got some business. I'm not standing here right now on the roof of the W in Washington, D.C. What a great hotel this is.
Show that full shot again. I'm sorry for our podcast listeners, but show that full shot again. Get out of the way. That's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. And look, I mean, just incredible view. And are they open now?
I believe they are open now. I don't know the exact details on that, but the real reason, Anthony, the actual reason why we have that particular show, that particular product up, and we'll show you some more, is because it was managed by the construction firm HITT. And we've got Mr. Peter Lanfranchi on right now joining us. Peter, why don't you square yourself up to the screen a little bit?
Okay.
Hey, great to see you, sir. How are you today?
Doing great. Glad to be here with you guys. I got to tell you, I'm a little nervous. I think my mom's watching the podcast.
You know, Peter, with a guy from New York working for a company named HITT, probably not the best, especially Italian guy, probably not the best company's name.
Well, I think that's pretty funny, and I got to tell you, we're excited to have you on, because what you guys are doing is interesting, it's innovative, and that's what we're all about here at No Vacancy Live, helping all of you out there find better pathways to success. And I got to be honest, we saw this technology, we loved it. We're like, we got to share this with our audience. So thanks again for being here today.
Great, happy to be here. Glad to share the technology. We think it's a real game changer for us in the industry.
Yeah, it's a game with my friend Tom, who you spoke to, who is working on a project with me. And he said that. He said game changer. And in the beginning of the conversation that he had with you, I was afraid that he wasn't understanding what I thought I was understanding. And at the end, he texted me, he goes, this is a game changer. So I'm excited to show it. So first of all, explain what we're going to see and why it's a game changer, and then we'll see it.
But before you say that, Peter, let me just say that you guys are a general contracting firm. You work all over the country. You've got offices in 12 different cities. So we're not talking about some people trying to figure it out. This is you guys have been around for a long time and have worked on amazing projects. Hey, if you're working on the W that's not behind me, or the Hey Adams in DC, you guys are the real deal. Please take it away.
Right. So great. So the benefits of technology, and the three of the things that we're going to show here today are 3D site capture, or virtual capture, which is a product that we use called OpenSpace. We're also going to talk about our virtual model rooms, and we're going to talk about our 4D site logistics. And we're really using our technology these days to really enhance teamwork, enhance our communication for the entire project team. Hotel owners want one thing: they want heads in beds, right? And we're trying to figure out ways to deploy new technologies to get people in their rooms, so owners can reduce their revenue loss and during those downtimes of construction. I heard a great saying the other day: hotel owners write checks until people check in, right? I think I heard that on your show, which was really, it's really true. So we're really using our technology.
We'll take credit.
What's that?
If we didn't say it, we'll take credit. Don't worry.
Right. So bottom line is, we're using our technology to avoid cost impacts and schedule impacts across all of our projects.
Right. And you don't have to be building a hotel.
No, you don't have to be building a hotel, right? We're using this 360 capture OpenSpace stuff across all of our different projects that we do across our company, right?
Right. All right. So let us jump right in there. Producer Dave, let's take a look at the first thing that we want to see. And this is going to be a highly visual show, so I want to apologize for all of you folks listening in on the audio feeds right now. And if you were watching our show yesterday, you know that No Vacancy Live is in the 0.5 top % of all podcasts on the entire planet Earth. So do us a favor, check Anthony's fan page on Facebook, watch along with the show. Check us on LinkedIn, check us out on YouTube, and you can see all these great visuals. Thanks so much, Peter. Take it away.
Well, great. Yeah. So, so what you're looking at here is 360 capture, or OpenSpace is the product that we're using. It's really about communication and how we can really enhance our communication to our clients and to the entire project team, right? It really allows us to hold really efficient progress meetings. If you think about construction, the old school way of documenting a project is our superintendents would walk around with a cell phone or a camera, really back in time, and they take a bunch of pictures, and we really never knew where they were, what floor they were on, what room they were in. And what this allows us to do is, if you look at this screen here, we're able to load up all the different floor plans of the property into the open space product. And then wherever you see the green line on the screen is where our superintendent walked that particular day at that particular time. So we just happen to be standing in this particular guest room here, and you can see we're hanging drywall. And as we pan around, so this room has all the drywall up. And if we jump into an adjacent room, you'll see that we're, here you can see all the metal studs are in, all the rough ends are in the wall, insulation's in place. And if we pan over to the other side, you can see all the in-wall blocking that's in the wall for all of our wall-mounted TV.
And that's when I say, Peter, why is the outlet on that wall? It's on the wrong wall, Peter.
It's not on the wrong wall because we have the ability to check our product as work's going in, Anthony. We know exactly where stuff goes.
Right.
All right. So it's important, I think, to just point out, as cool as that looks, if you look at the top right corner, it actually shows you where you physically are in the building and on what floor you're in, which is pretty cool too. So you have complete understanding of the orientation of where you are.
Right. Exactly. That's what I was just saying. There's no more, I wonder if I have a picture from room 322 in my, as I scroll through all my old digital photos. Now we know we have a picture of room 322 or whatever room that we're in, and we have a full timeline from the beginning of the job to the end of the job. So really what we're doing here is we're creating a photo journal of each room, each floor, every other day. We usually like to have our superintendents have a cadence of either every other day or every third day where they walk the job. And really, it's a really powerful tool as well for our as-builting. If you think about construction, and again, I'll always reference back to how things used to be done. We used to rely on our plumbers and electricians to take a set of plans, floor plans, and draw on there with a red line where they put piping in. Now we can eliminate all that because you can see all the piping, all the wires, all the sprinkler piping, all the ductwork as built it right in its condition. And what's great about this is that if this hotel gets renovated in 5 or 7 years, there'll be no more unforeseen conditions. We know where everything is in this building.
And really what happens is anyone that's been on these projects understands the stress level to get these projects done on time, on budget, is unbelievable. So if you take your contractor, you take the owner, you take the architect, the designer, you get the operator, and you get them in a meeting, everyone's amped up a little bit. There's a little stress because we need to make the numbers. By going to a room and seeing exactly where it is, there's no more guesswork. So we're not the tension, a lot of the tension. Like the reason I'm saying this, it's the first time I thought of it. When I'm sitting in that room, I feel better because he's like, just pull it up. Let's just look at it. He doesn't have to sit there, or she doesn't have to sit there and guess where she thinks the room is. It's like, okay, that's where the room is. And you have no idea how much stress that takes out of the entire project.
Right, Anthony, that's a perfect segue into what I was just thinking while you were saying that. What we're able to do is we're able to also bring up the actual open space on a particular date, and then we can actually compare it to our construction schedule. So when we're telling owners that, yes, we're on the 3rd floor of this hotel and we're hanging drywall, not only can we just tell them and show them on our construction schedule, but we can actually show them in real time from that day that we're actually on schedule. We're supposed to be hanging drywall on the 3rd floor in room 322, and we can actually show it now versus having to go to the job site and see it for real to believe, to actually believe if it's actually taken place. And the other really super powerful thing about this is, if you think about hotel work, it's always national. We're always traveling around the country, and we go out early and we capture the building, especially if it's a renovation, in advance, and we can walk once we have all of that data and all that capture, we can walk our subcontractors through, and so that they understand where the loading dock is and where the elevators are, and how our sequence of how the job's going to run, and then we can walk them in and out of the existing rooms without them traveling there. So again, it's about the ability to communicate to our subs, to our owners, all through the life cycle of the project. And so this image here you're looking at, so this is in that same hotel. This is actually out in San Diego. We're renovating this property right now. Right. But this is actually on the left side of the screen, you see all the plumbing trenches underground. And what was really great about this is, like a typical hotel, everyone's scattered around the country. And we had a problem with the underground plumbing rough in. And we were able to stand over the plumbing trenches with the owner and the architect and the engineers and solve problems in real time before having to wait people to travel to the job site or write requests of information to get those answers. Again, it's all about trying to save time and communicate really efficiently with our project teams. And if
it's one of those moments in my career where I'm like, how do we live without this?
Right.
So let me just reset this for a second, Peter. What we're actually looking at here, and again, apologize to the people listening. That's why you have to watch today's show. You're seeing the same place in the same building, one from the end of November, one from the end of January. So you're actually on this screen comparing the changes that occurred in that time. I love when you rotate it. Both of them go simultaneously.
And it could also be, correct me if I'm wrong, Peter, like it could show a shot from this morning. So it can also be exactly as you know what's going on today, right this second.
Exactly. And you're right, Glenn. We're showing we're in the same exact location, showing the same view. And so we can do that side-by-side comparison. We can lock the screens. And what you're looking at is the plumbing trenches on the left, and on the right, you can see the new bar location that we put in the middle of this lobby.
Right.
And so yes, we're looking at the whole progression of the project and we can even go further back in time to when we just started the demo and before we cut the concrete, and so you can really follow along on the whole progression of this project. Like here's that same shot before we even, like just when we started doing the demo, we liquidated the lobby, and now we're just started our soft demo on the property, and now here are the plumbing trenches, and then we can jump forward and keep going on.
Wow. That's pretty cool. I love this whole notion of you being able to problem solve and have conversations remotely, just like we are right now in 3 different locations, all on the same page, looking at the same type of images. That's really got to increase that overall productivity, right?
Not only that, and then Peter, I'll let you answer that. But before we get into that productivity and everything, what it does for me is if I'm getting a bill 3 months from now, and they're saying, I don't know, for some reason, it's a sheetrock bill. And they're like, well, in January, we put all the sheetrock in and the labor is attached to that. And I can go back and say, no, you didn't. You charged me for that labor in December or February or whatever. It really gives me an understanding of where the project was. So if I'm looking, if I'm going through bills, I can, if I need to, I can go back and say, that doesn't seem right. And then I look and say, no, it's not right. I'm being overcharged and you're charging me double, whatever. It really, to me, being a control freak, of the control freak, Hall of Fame, it really allows me control, and it makes me very happy.
Being an advanced user of this product, Open Space, they're actually coming up with something really fantastic. And with all of the capture, we're going to have the ability now to actually compare exactly what you're saying, how much drywall was supposed to be actually installed on a particular floor by linear foot. And as we do the 360 capture, it'll calculate how much drywall is installed, and it'll tell you that on the 3rd floor, we have 50% of our drywall installed, or 50% of the painting done. So it's going to start being able to quantify work in place for that exact reason, Anthony, so we can compare it to the subs bills that are coming in and to the owner bills that are going out.
And that's what Tom, the project guy on this, Tom Downing, that's what he's really excited about. But even visually, I can kind of make, calculation. You can just see it's there, it's not there. So I absolutely love it.
Well, that's interesting to me, Peter. I got to ask, because you're talking about like drywall. So you're telling me, I've never developed a hotel, so this is going to sound maybe unusual question, but do I know exactly how much drywall I have left and whether or not I have enough? I should order more. Can it help me not order too much product as well?
It should be able to Glenn, because at the beginning of the job, we rely on our drywall subcontractors to have an accurate takeoff.
Right.
But now that we're able to digitally and visually calculate how many linear feet of drywall should be installed on a floor and what percentage of it's done, we should be able then to calculate how much drywall, yes, we need left on that particular floor to finish the floor.
And this is good for a lot of projects, even the franchise where it's almost cookie cutter. But especially for a project that I'm developing right now and other big projects, really, this is like, again, I don't know how we lived without it, because it's so critically important to have those things at your fingertips in a meeting when there's 7 people working on one room. There's 7 people in the room at a time sometimes. And, it's really important to know, even for a little thing, it's like, who put a hole in that wall? I don't know. Well, it wasn't there yesterday, and the only sub that was in there today was you.
That's exactly right, Anthony. We deal with that all the time. Like, who did that? And we're always trying to go back and figure out who was in the room, and we can do that.
Wow. That's really awesome. So, all right. So let me go back to that other thing. So that way you bring up enough drywall, saving labor. You don't have to have someone bring up twice as much as you want. You could better utilize those man hours for other places as well.
Right.
That is really cool. All right. I think we've got some more, Dave, that you want to bring up.
Yeah. Let's look at the one that was just up, the guest room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's bring it up any second now. So don't worry. Boom. There.
Go back to the open space on the guest room floor here.
So I was going to say the next one, you've developed this entire room virtually before it even started, right?
Right. I think this was great to show owners as well here. So here you're looking at a guest room, a typical hotel guest room that we just are working on. That on the left side, it's the before picture after we just liquidated the room. And on the right side, you can see October 15th versus November 16th. And we can do a quick scan around the room here. And you can see that, all the FF&Es installed and all the new wallpapers up and all the paintings done. And so again, just not only for public space, but for guest rooms, it really shows that level of progress from when we started to when we actually delivered the rooms.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That is really cool that you're able to have such control over that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how does this help with the creative process, Peter?
So what we're looking at right here is a thing that we developed, a virtual model room. Now, our virtual model rooms, they don't take the place of the actual on-site construction model rooms, but we do them far enough advance to allow the design team and ownership group to see what they're thinking about putting in their property. And so again, there's always a story behind everything we do. So about 5 years ago, we were working on a hotel in DC, and we built the traditional in-place model room. And the ownership group came in, and all the designers flew in from around the country. And it was a little more than our normal changes, but it was move the pocket door and change the accessories and repaint this and move the couch. And, after we renovated the room 3 times, we realized that we said, this is a very costly endeavor, right? We spent a lot of money building the first room. We spent a lot of time and effort renovating the room and making the design changes when it could have easily been done in this virtual environment. And this room is great right here. This was a product that we did. This is the Eaton Hotel that we built in Washington, D.C. And let me show you 2 things on this particular headboard wall here. So if we can just pan there. So when we showed this virtual model room to our ownership group, they instantly focused in on the sconces. And so we showed them. What's great about this is we can pull up the actual submittal of everything that's been designed in the room. So here's the sconce submittal that was selected. And the owner said, I don't like those sconces. I don't want a brass sconce. And then in addition, they felt that the sconce being directly above the pillow would have been a problem with the light shining down on their head. So we were able to avoid ordering the sconce, and in real time when these rooms were built, the sconces were actually moved to the side of the bed. Right, so the light shined in on a different angle, but we were able to not order the sconce that would have taken 6 to 8 weeks to get. So we avoided the time and the cost, as well as if you think about it, if we would have roughed in those 2 sconces to make the change, we would have had to move the furniture, protect the finished room, cut open the drywall, move all the electrical circuiting, patch it up, paint it up, put the furniture in, and then wait for the new sconces to show up. So we eliminated all that just by doing this virtual model room. And it was a huge time and savings and cost savings.
And once you're able to realize the dimensions, we put it into the software, like you were saying before, once that technology is in place, you'll realize that bed does fit on that wall, that night table does fit on the wall. Because I cannot tell you how many times I've done a project and we're like, oh, did we order 2 night tables? Only one fits in the room. What are we going to do with 175 night tables now that we can't fit in the room?
Right. So here's the full submittal of that nightstand. So we know dimensionally how big the headboard wall is. And so we can, to scale, put in the nightstands, put in the bed, because we have all of the FF&E information, all of the dimensions, all the cut sheets from the.
Oh, so you can do that now currently. Great.
We can do that now in the virtual model room, and we know it fits. And we also can make sure that the outlets are in the right spot and they're behind the beds, and we coordinate all that stuff.
Right. So it's really important as well in that creative process, because owners a lot of times, not all of them, most of the time they specialize in operations or financing. They're not necessarily design-driven people, which I think, Peter, is why you get to the situation where you have to keep refining and making changes with model rooms. If you could do it all virtually, you could really save a lot of time. And to your point about not having to fly people in all the time to take a look at a model room, save a lot of money at the same time, getting the hotel done more efficiently and opening quicker during the pre-construction phase.
Absolutely. We did a cost study on this. And if you just take a 160 room hotel, and if that's for some reason delayed, let's say 3 weeks, because we weren't able to get the design right and we had to move stuff around and we were making changes, and it moved to schedule just like 3 weeks. And you take it in a sense of, now we're into the higher rate season of a particular property. And let's say the differential in rate was $100 a night. If you take 160 rooms times 21 days times $100 a night, that's $336,000 of revenue. That doesn't calculate into other peripheral costs that are in there. If your staff was already on board, and so there's a carry cost on the bank, and there's a lot of things.
Right. And the construction loan coming due, and and the banker tapping his desk going, 3 weeks more. What?
So, Peter, I got to ask Anthony a question. Anthony, you one of the most important things I think you ever did in your career was reinvent the Algonquin Hotel. Do you wish you had something like this? What advantage would you have had back then if you were utilizing a product like this?
I have hair. I'll tell you a quick story. You're making me go off on a tangent.
Yep.
Working 23 hours a day, and a gentleman named Engel Santos came into my office. He was a supervisor in housekeeping. And he said, boss, I really didn't know who he was at the time because we were just moving so fast. And he said, hey, boss, you need to go home and go to sleep. And I go, I can't. This is going on. The sheetrock there, all this stuff's going. The carpet's coming. I can't. I got to make sure it's this and that. And he goes, boss, you're going home. And he literally sent me home. My supervisor in housekeeping sent me home because like this, I would have been able to go home, take a night's sleep, get up, and then look at it and not have to worry about did it come, did not come. And so, yeah, this, like, as soon as I saw it and we started going through it, it's one of those moments in your career. And again, I know that software has been out there, but I've never seen it utilized really to the point of where Peter uses it on a project of this magnitude. And I was just like, done. I use that word in my marketing, for my company. I say my favorite word is done. When I say done, there's no question. It's done. Nobody talked to me. Nobody said it's done. When I saw that software, I was like, done. Question's over. Now it's just about getting everybody on board, but it's done. I'm using the software.
Peter, I got a good question here from John Brinkman. Will this make lenders feel more comfortable? Maybe reduce construction loans? How do you see that?
It absolutely makes our owners feel more comfortable, without question. Every owner that sees this, that we're working with on active construction jobs, it really gives them the peace of mind that we can show them the project every other day, once a week. We use it in our progress meetings. The old way again of doing business was our superintendent would start a phone call or start a meeting with an Excel spreadsheet that had a bunch of 2-week look ahead bars in it. We've eliminated that. And now we're talking real time, and we're saying, here's what's actually happening on your job site today, and here's our plan for the next week. And you can say, it makes sense. The studs are up, or the wallpaper's up, and furniture's coming, and you can see where we are and really visualize where we're going to be. So it absolutely gives owners a peace of mind.
Just to make clear, the project I'm working on now, I am not working with Peter. He's not the construction company. We have a great construction company, and they may or may not be using the software. I'm not sure. So I want to make that clear. I don't want somebody from the construction company calling and sending me an email. Peter's not working on this project, but I do like the software, and at some point we'll implement it.
Great.
Excellent. Mike McManus says he has a contact at a construction company that uses OpenSpace. They love it. Changes are simplified and expedited. Also saves huge on inventory. And thank you for saying that part, Mike, because that's what I had a sneaking suspicion on, that people could actually save money on that sort of a thing. That's great. Dave, I think we've got another shot that we could bring onto the screen right now.
David, you're earning your money, man. That big raise we gave you yesterday, you really earned it.
All right, Hotel, Washington, D.C. That's where I am right now. So in order to honor that occasion, I am going to switch my view and Go to a different part of the hotel.
No,
All
you're
right.
in the lobby. Right.
Amazing. I went from the roof to the lobby, just like that.
Before we tee up the video, just again, this is our 4D site logistics. You know, if we think about the evolution of site logistics in construction, way back when, we'd take a set of blueprints and we would or project documents, and we'd take highlighters and draw and Sharpies and draw in where we were going to do lane closures and where we were going to let men and fencing and material sort of access points, and that was how we showed clients how we were going to build our project with our site logistics. Then we were able to take that information and put it on a 3D image and put it on a piece of paper, and you can see a 3D image on how we were going to do our logistics. And now with technology, we're actually able to do a 4D site logistics plan. And for this particular job, when we renovated the hotel, the W Hotel in 2019, it was going to be an occupied hotel when we did the renovation. And so what better way to communicate than this? And we'll let this run here, and I'll do a little talk over. So here we took a Google Earth image, we've de-skinned the actual hotel, and now what we're looking at here is there's a legend on the side. As the floor turns orange, we start a demo, and blue means it's under construction, and then when you see it turn green, it means we're setting FF&E. But what was really powerful about this is the construction folks on the team understood, you know, what a material hoist was and where we were going to be through our construction schedules. But to be able to communicate to the team on site, the general manager and his staff, how we were sequencing through the job and where our material hoist was going to be and what the lane closure looked like on F Street. And so this was really powerful. The other thing that was really great about this was when our subcontractors were pricing up the job, you know, they always had concern about an occupied hotel and bringing all of their men and material in through the loading dock and waiting for the back of house elevators. When we showed them this and said we were going to have our material hoist on the side and all of their deliveries were able to come in through a tractor trailer and load them up on that work platform there on the side of the building and run their men and material up and down the material hoist, they were really able to price the job efficiently labor-wise, which we know saved a lot of money because there was no downtime for their employees waiting for, you know, pushing the back of house elevator and it's full of linens or it's full of, you know, food service. And we were able to get our men in and out of the building and really efficiently.
Right. That's interesting to me. So by having this mechanism, you were able to convince them to go with a different type of construction process they would have otherwise.
Right. Otherwise, we would have had to use the back of house elevators, but by doing this and showing them that, hey, if we do this material hoist and we use this, we can save time because we're not waiting for that constant waiting for the elevators, the internal elevators, and then we can save money by not having all of our, you know, if you think about 200 subcontractors standing around waiting for elevators all day long, it adds up in labor.
Right. And you can also get an understanding of where all your overhead expenses of the contractor is going to be with the scaffolding and the signage and the fencing and the elevators. And it's like, you know what, when we get to that level, we don't need that scaffolding or we don't need, you know, security or labor on that corner. And it really gives you an idea of how efficient the hotel can run because those overhead expenses can get expensive.
And the same thing, if we've got materials of drywall going up and down the elevators, then now it's impacting the hotel's ability
Absolutely.
to get, you know, housekeeping up and down the elevators or their room service deliveries up and down the elevators at the same time. So it took us out of the property. It gave us the efficiencies to run up and down our material hoist and really control how we were staffing and stocking the job.
And to go back to your question, we may not have been able to use it at the Algonquin because we just have access from the front. But one of the reasons we shut the building down was because everything you're talking about, we were not able to comfortably feel that we'll be able to do. And if we even went over a week, we would lose too much money. So it was more expensive upfront to shut it down. But once we built in a week or 2 or 3 extension, we're like, oh, we're going to lose money. So let's just shut it down and solve that problem. If I had this and I was able to have show this to the owners, we may not have shut the building down if we were able to have a hoist on the building.
Right. When we renovated this hotel originally in 2009, we shut it down completely. And so it didn't matter. But when we did this renovation in 18 and 19, it was going to be occupied. So it made sense to be able to communicate this way through to the ownership group.
Right. And on that particular point, and for looking at this, it's the week of December 9th, 2018, and you've already brought 2 floors back. And it looks like, because that 3rd floor, you're setting the FF&E, as an owner, as a manager, I can start to say, well, now I'm going to have 3 floors open. That means I'm going to have to increase my staffing X%. And I know that floor 7 and 6 are going to be coming on in X amount of time as well.
And you know what? And you know what's great about this? To me, it just hit me. No one listens in meetings. When you're going through all this, you're looking at spreadsheets and you're looking down at paper and you're looking at computer screens. And 90% of the people, when you leave, they forget everything you said. When you're looking at this visually, all the colors, like, I'll remember that graphic. I was like, oh, there's 2, like, 2 floors. One was almost done, all done. One was almost done. One was kind of half done. I got that. As opposed to Peter saying the numbers and, percentages that I probably forget. So this really helps you remember.
You're absolutely right. And Glenn, to your point, exactly right. And so on this particular date, you're right. We've already delivered the 10th and 9th floor. The hotel knew that we were setting FF&E, so their staff would have to get ready to start OS&E. And we were on doing construction on 7, 6, getting started on 6. And so, yeah, they knew their displacement versus looking at displacement schedules. They could look at this and say, okay, I know exactly where we are in time.
So for that
I've got a quick factoid I want to throw out there that highlights the point that you just made. According to Forbes magazine, if you watch something visually, 95% of people are going to remember it. But if you only see it in print, only 10% remember it. So that's huge right there, and goes to your point, Anthony.
And thank you for proving my point. I appreciate that. And I'm a visual guy. Everybody knows. Just I want to see things. I just want to see everything. But my other point was going to be, for those young people that may be a front desk clerk that know nothing about how that beautiful building that they're standing in was built, explain to them. I know, and Glenn knows what these things mean, but explain what OS&E and FF&E mean, because that young person coming in, when I was a desk clerk, I wouldn't know what office supplies and equipment is. So maybe just explain that a little bit.
Right. So FF&E is furniture, fixtures, and equipment, and it's all of the bed, the nightstands, the draperies, the TV, all of the hard elements that are in the room that are part of our construction process. The OS&E is, like you mentioned, it's all of the soaps and the linens and the bed sheets and stuff that gets set up after we've delivered the floor.
Right. And those numbers can get real big real quick if you're not careful. And we're actually going through that right now. And if you've worked on a project like this, and you're in charge of the FF&E and OS&E, you're the one that loses their hair the most.
Right. We don't do the OS&E. We have a warehouse and all the FF&E is delivered there, and then we deliver it to our job site and then set it up in place.
Right.
Awesome.
That's great.
All right, so we're going to be having a question come up right here, but we just want to see the end of this video. All right, so Gordon Storm is asking, what IT support is available for this technology? This person on site to troubleshoot. In other words, how does it all work?
So I'll tell you, OpenSpace has been great. You can download their product. You can, or purchase, obviously, and we have we do it on a per project basis right now, and their support staff has been unbelievable. If we have any problem with their software, I remember just recently on our job in San Diego, there was a problem with one of the cameras that we had that we were using on site, and our superintendent on a job site sent an email out, and the next morning there were 5 people from OpenSpace support emailing us saying, let's jump on a call right now and fix this. It's simple. It's on your phone. There's an app, or you can do it on your desktop. It's very simple to navigate and maneuver. And how it works is, like I said, our superintendent will get on the floor. He'll turn on his cell phone. Once he hits the start button and he does his lap through that particular floor and hits end, all of that information is uploaded to OpenSpace, and then all we do is get an email link right after that. And once you have that email, you just click on it, and presto, you're on the job site. And
it's from the second he says, "I'm done with my walkthrough," to the second you have it, 10 seconds.
It's not 10 seconds. It's probably 10 minutes. It's got to be processed. And they typically send you two emails. The first one is, it says, hey, there was just a capture done on your job site. And then behind the scenes, the OpenSpace guys are doing a bunch of alignment stuff. And then they send you the final version of it, which is it's within 30 minutes. It's quick. I mean, you're getting it very quickly.
And I'll say at the end of this show, when I download it from my files, it takes 4 or 5 minutes to process so I can even download this program. So that's really great. And I love, Peter, that we're not talking expensive camera equipment. You don't have crews. You have a guy with the phone he already has in his pocket walking around doing these videos.
Yep. And and now all of our superintendents have their 360 camera. And what's great, it mounts right on their hard hat. And there's a magnetic mount. And so when he's wearing his hard hat on our job sites, and when he wants to start open space, he just takes out his 360 camera, sticks it on his hat, hits the go button on his cell phone, and he's walking and capturing.
And if you had this on your first project when you got into this business, you'd even look younger than you are, right?
Exactly.
Producer Dave saying backstage, it's a lot quicker than a 5-hour flight across country. I'd say it's a lot quicker from the time I sit on the airplane till the time the door closes before I even take off to have all of that stuff loaded.
Absolutely. And we did a case study on using open space. If you think about it in terms of the cost of airfare, lodging, Glenn's bar tab, rental cars, Ubers, all this stuff, right? One trip can add up to between $1,000 and $2,000, and then on top of that, you've got all your time, your personal time that you're spending. That's really downtime. It's not productive time. So there's a real capture in cost here.
I agree with everything you're saying, but my sobriety is incredibly offended at your comments right now. What about unions? I don't know why unions would have a problem with this. This is making their job easier without really affecting the way they perceive jobs, right?
No problem. I mean, this is just information that's being captured and presented. There's no union issue. We haven't had any.
Yeah, good. That's what I figured. Joseph is saying it's also straightforward for field personnel. I think that's great. There's a lot of stakeholders here, Peter, that can have a winning experience by utilizing this type of technology.
Yeah, Joseph was an architect.
It's great to see people that are in this field actually on our show right now commenting that they would use it. I'm sorry, Peter.
Right. I was going to say, Joseph, I just saw his name pop up. We just wrapped up a project with him down in DC. And, again, it's just great. I mean, all of our architect friends, they really enjoy, having the ability to walk the jobs with us and solve problems in real time. It's really unbelievable.
And that's really what it is, because projects like this, it's about solving problems. There's a lot of smart people on the project. There's a lot of money invested. And it's about solving problems that really, and some of them solving problems before they happen, most importantly.
Right. Exactly.
Wow. Yeah.
Preventing problems.
Yeah, I love that idea. It's about preventing problems. It's about realizing what the pinch points could be and solving them before they wind up costing you a lot of time, a lot of money, and most importantly, in some cases, a lot of stress and headaches. And the cool thing is, Peter, that this is something we talk a lot about at the show about accelerating trends, right? COVID has accelerated the trends. You had this in place, obviously, from showing us this last project for the last few years. But during this particular period of time, construction hasn't stopped on projects, but it's been more difficult for people necessarily to get on site. So it's probably helped a big time. And I think that this period of time is going to get people to really focus on this technology. When we're back to the way it always was, we'll be in good shape.
Absolutely. If you're busy, what better way than just seeing your job site? I mean, I can tell you that for all of our jobs that are happening, again, we're all busy executives, and we love to go travel and see our guys on site, and we love to go and see the projects live. But at the end of the night, when the next morning when I turn my computer on, I'm able to walk all of our construction sites within 30 minutes. We have one down in Chapel Hill. We have in San Diego. We're in DC. We're working down in Austin. So we're all over the place. And I get to walk all those jobs and communicate with our field staff and ask them questions about how's it going. I see what's happening over here, and we can have real conversations about what's happening on our job site, and then make the trip down there and check on the project.
Interesting. Just some of the we're getting a lot of great comments coming in right now. Daniel says it's a great tool for collaboration with companies like his that supply hotel products. We can see existing conditions to ensure we ship products that will work with existing conditions. I mean, how many times does product maybe get there too early and you don't even know how to deal with it, right?
Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Very, very interesting stuff. He's also saying, is this a platform that is just for owners, general contractors, or all team members? Who's allowed to participate in these things? Is that dependent on the particular project, Peter?
I'm not sure if I completely understood his question, but
Yeah, who gets to really see the this product? Is it for everybody in the hotel or only certain key decision makers?
Well, right now we're just using it for the people that are involved with the weekly progress meetings, and that's our owners, our construction managers, the general manager that's on the call, and his staff are on our weekly progress calls. The architect, engineers. So it's really just the project team that's seeing all the information. But again, we can email that link out to anybody, and they can just walk through the space at their leisure as well. So it's really user friendly,
and it's good for designers, especially when you have the model room.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And one of the things that I like about this is if you're taking a look at the tour and you see a particular item, you could really drill down and see a lot more about the specifics on each individual item in the room without having to pull out all these different files around the office.
Exactly right. All of the project submittals in the virtual model room now we're talking about are all there. So again, you can pull up the paint drawdowns, and you can pull up all the toilet accessories, and you can pull up all the information right from the virtual model room tour. Absolutely. It's all there.
Right. And it just makes your company that much more, if I'm looking at a project, I'm bidding out a project, and I know you're using this, and you can speak to it in a real way and answer all my questions, it just makes you more attractive. Not that you're not already attractive.
Thanks, Anthony. It's a real game changer. There's a great quote I love to say. It says that anyone who isn't using technology to radically change the way they do business will be left on the dust heap of history. And so, for me, I love this technology and how we're using it. And it's really all about saving time and money and delivering higher quality projects to our clients. I mean, that's really all boils down to for us.
So I got a question for you. I'm going to magically move to the Hey Adams in DC over there. How is the Hey Adams able to find success? Let me get out of the way because I don't want to block the White House and stuff like that.
Right.
Wow.
So that's a picture that was taken while we did a roof addition at the Hey Adams back in 2010. Unfortunately, all of this great technology wasn't available back then when we were doing that project, but that's from our tower crane there.
Yeah, I love how your mic is in the shot of the White House. Your mic is so close to the White House. It's crazy, Glenn.
I've got Biden's ear. What can I tell you?
And there's no wind or anything. Your hair looks perfectly combed. Look at that. You're amazing.
I use a very good hairspray. I've got a stack of it from the 70s when you can still have the spritzer stuff.
John Brinkman, and I wouldn't normally bring this up now, but John's such a loyal follower of ours. We have to ask his question. And I know you're not going to answer it directly because it's a complicated question, but okay, so we're sold. This is a great development construction project for today and post-COVID, long overdue. So pricing?
I look at it as it's priceless. I mean, it's very,
It's true. I agree.
I mean, it's really affordable. I'll let Open Space, if anyone wants to reach out to them directly, I'm happy to share the contact information there. But I can tell you that it's very affordable. It's a small amount of money for the value. I can tell you on a lot of our projects, it's cheaper to having the Open Space product than one trip down to the job site and back. It's that cheap.
And when you look at the value of these projects, we're talking $50 million, $100 million, $200 million, $300 billion project. When you say it's priceless, it's true, because one mistake, whether it be a trip or one mistake of like that scotch you talked about,
right?
It pays for itself the first day.
Right. The virtual model room cost that we develop our in-house virtual model rooms, and they run roughly around, let's just use a round number, around $6,000. Very reasonable compared to building an actual model room. Could be anywhere from $100,000 to $300,000 depending on the model room. But so the $6,000 virtual model room to save relocating sconces and cutting drywall paid for itself instantly.
Right. Especially when owners don't want to build model rooms. And I've never been on a project where an owner wants to build a model room unless I force them to. Again, I'm dealing with a lot of independent owners, and a lot of them don't see the needs. No, we know the design, we know the dimensions. You got to build a model room, and it always takes time, effort. And then what happens when you build a model room? Everybody dirties up the model room. It never looks good.
Anthony, I got to tell you, since we've been doing our virtual model rooms, I can tell you without question, 100% of the time, we've made no on-site changes to our actual model, to the actual in-place model rooms. They were only for QC that HITT built it to the quality that we want. There were no moving the sconces and changing the paint colors. So 100% of the time since we've been doing virtual model rooms, we've made no on-site.
I've never seen that happen, because every time you do build a model room, the whole room's changed.
Right. It's a home run. Right.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's great.
Peter, I feel like we've told this story. Any final thoughts? How can we find you?
Well, you can find us at hit-gc.com/hospitality. We're finding this technology to be a really powerful tool in the way we communicate and run our jobs with our clients and our subcontracting partners. And, I'm glad you guys had me on the show. It was great to be here.
So, Peter, what you don't know is you said your mom is watching, and we know that because you sent her the link, and she's going to come on and embarrass you. So, David, bring Peter's mom on.
No.
Peter, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
All right, great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. Thank you.
And hey, for all the people out there on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our channel. It's easy. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. Anthony, what do you think about this as a developer, as a lifelong hotelier? How do you feel?
There's a few times where I've walked projects or I've seen something where I'm like, took my breath away. And when I walked into a hotel in New York City about 20 something years ago, I was like, okay, they're changing the game. I get it. That was the last time I remember when I was just like, wow, this is different. It was just happened to be the way they designed the hotel, but it was different. I don't really get that feeling when I saw this product and the way they brought us through it and what I'm dealing with right now currently. And I was just like, okay, this is going to change the level of stress that everyone deals with. Right. And when you're running so fast to develop these projects, because again, time is money, and these are the things you're like, okay, done. And again, if you look at my marketing positioning of my company when I did it 5, 7, 10 years ago, there's a whole page about the word done. And as soon as I saw it, done, and what's the price? We'll figure it out. But done. We got to figure it out. And if it's overly expensive where we can't afford it, I will work with whoever I need to work with to let them know that they got to reduce their price because we need this product. So it's not a sales pitch. It's just, it's just facts. This saves time and money and effort and plane fares. And again, it gives you a level of comfort, because a lot of people building these projects, these are complicated projects. So most of us are we're wired to be very particular about the way, whether it be the contractor, whether it be the designer, whether it be the developer, whether it be the owner, whether it be the operator, they're all pretty high wire people. They're all wired up pretty, they don't need coffee in the morning. They pretty much are a personality types. So the more control they have over their project, the lower the temperature when you're having these meetings and everyone can kind of really work together and feel in control of the project. What is Suzanne to? My friend Suzanne, what'd she say? I'm envisioning a development and design course. Okay, Suzanne. Okie dokie, we'll do that. We work on class.
Well, hopefully we'll see you real soon. Colleen, keep getting better. Keep getting healthier.
Yes, Colleen. And we miss you. And also before, I'm going to say a very bad Glenn joke, because before you're standing on the Hey Adams. Am I understanding?
That's right.
Okay. So you said before when you were loading something up, you said, hey, and I was going to say Adams.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's best that you didn't.
Yeah, it's best that I do it in the time, not 20 minutes later.
That's all right. Just leave it to me. I will make sure that we drag this our audience through the worst jokes possible. If you want to hear a lot more of those jokes, make sure you tune in tomorrow night at 5:00 for Friday Night Audit, where me and Craig Suller are going to have.
And listen, and what I've heard in the business is HITT is a really good company as well. Not only from using this technology, they're just they do some crazy good projects. I'm not working with them, but I've heard good things about them.
Excellent. Well, Anthony, I think that we are done with our journey today on No Vacancy Live. Got off this weekend, but we're going to be back Monday with another great series of shows.
Today's Monday?
No, we'll be back on Monday.
And Today's Monday.
No, today's Thursday. I know that on Tuesday I thought it was Wednesday, but I do know today is Thursday, even though it feels like Friday because it's the end of the week for us.
Okay, so today's Tuesday. Got it.
Right. Excellent. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I told you all, It was going to be a big hit. Glad you guys liked it. I hope you, I want to thank you so much for being here. Remember, everybody, you got one life, so blaze on and
Be kind to yourself.